Hi kids, I'm Kathy.
And I'm Micah. I hope you enjoyed that video about migration. So, to get an idea of what these birds have to do to migrate, let's try to fly ourselves.
Okay.
So, let's everybody get up, flap your wings really hard to take off, and now that you're in the air, you can soar like a hawk. Or flap really fast like a goose. Which is easier, flapping or soaring?
Oh, soaring is much easier, Micah. But it's kind of fun to flap your wings really fast, like you're going to go after an insect or something.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that gets tiring really quickly.
It does. You know what? Now that we're all warmed up, let's land and get back to the lesson. Whew. Now that we're ready to learn, Kathy, do any of our local birds migrate?
Actually, we have quite a few birds that migrate here in Southern California. We have many that come here just for the summer, and then in wintertime, they fly down to Mexico and Central America where it's warmer. And then we have birds that come up here just for the winter time and they hang out in the winter, and then they fly north to Canada where they nest and find food.
Well, so what's an example of one that comes here only in the summer?
I'll show you.
Wow, it has such beautiful bright orange feathers. It's such a pretty bird.
It is a pretty bird, Micah. But you know, not all Orioles look like this bright orange bird. The bright orange birds are male, but the females are much more muted. They are more of a pale yellow and a gray color.
Well, that's interesting. I still think the female bird is still really pretty, but why would the female bird want to have like duller colors? Don't they want us to see them?
Actually, you'd think so, right? But no, they want to be inconspicuous. They want to be pale so that they can hide, because when they're building a nest and sitting on eggs, they don't want predators to see them. So here is an oriole building a nest.
Is that nest hanging from a branch? It almost looks like an ornament. I think I see that she decorated her nest with some feathers from other birds.
She did. And when the nest is complete, it will look so neat and woven together. In the summertime, you can find orioles building their nests in trees all around us here in Southern California.
Wait, so just to be clear, they only are here in the summer?
Exactly. These are one of our summer migrants. In the winter, they fly south. Actually, I have a map to show you that how the orioles travel, how they migrate. These orioles were seen by birders and scientists over time.
Okay, I see. So we're starting in January, and we can see all the months throughout the year. Most of the orioles in January are in Mexico, but around May, they fly up here and spread all throughout the continental US.
And finally, in September, they fly south again to spend the winter back in Mexico.
Wait, so I just want to put this all together. So the orioles are flying south to Mexico to eat in the winter because there's more food there. Mm-hmm. And then in the summer, they fly back to Southern California and other places in the US, and they build their nests and breed here, and so they have their chicks. So that means that's why we can see their nests here, but you wouldn't necessarily be able to see their nests in Mexico.
Nope.
So do I have that all together?
That's exactly right. You're learning.
That's amazing. So, can you show me a bird who is here for the winter to find food here in the winter instead of in Mexico?
I can. There's this cute little bird. It's called a ruby-crowned kinglet. And it's named for the little ruby crown at the very top of its head that you rarely see. It only puts that ruby crown up if it's agitated, which means it's angry or upset about something. Otherwise, it's a pretty inconspicuous pale bird.
That kinglet is a teeny looking bird, especially compared to the branch that it's sitting on.
Yes, and they like to flit around a lot. You can sometimes see them in these oak trees, flitting around and flapping their wings. It's almost like they're nervous.
Interesting. And this must be the kinglet nest. She looks very determined to protect it sitting in there.
Yes, but you know, Micah, we can't see kinglet nests here in Southern California.
Well, why would that be?
Because kinglets spend the winter here And then they migrate north in the summer to make their nests and to breed up in Canada.
Do you think we can clarify it by looking at another map of their
Yes.
migration?
Let me show you. So here we'll start the map.
Okay, so once again, we have the months indicated here. And where there's color, there are kinglet sightings. So right now it's showing January again, so there should be plenty of kinglets here in January.
But moving into summer, most of the kinglets are going to fly north up into Canada. Do you remember when those birds nest?
In the summer.
Right.
So I see. So since they're all up north and not here in the summer, they don't nest here. So we wouldn't see their nests here.
Right. And you know what, Micah? I've never seen a kinglet nest for that reason.
Why does it look like a few of them stay in Utah and Colorado in the summer?
Well, that's right there is where we have the Rocky Mountains. And the Rocky Mountains are really high. And so the climate and habitat is a lot like Canada. It's much cooler there. So there are a few that stay up in that area.
Okay, cool. So now students, what we want you to do is look at the map and pause it when we get to this month, whatever day it is right now. And I want you to tell us if you can find kinglets here based on if there is color in Southern California during this time. So pause the video when you get to this month.
Nice. And now let's try a few other dates. Can you pause it on your birthday and see if kinglets are here? Or how about April Fool's Day? And if you don't remember when April Fool's Day is, it's April 1st. So these birds have to travel a long way to find food and to nest every year. But there are some birds that travel even farther. The Swainson's hawks come from the Central Valley of California in large groups, and they migrate south all the way down to South America. And their whole migration route back and forth is 12,000 miles.
Wow, those birds are so lucky. I wish I could travel thousands of miles each year.
Yeah, it does sound fun, Micah, but you know what? Migration can be really hard and really dangerous.
Really, what kind of dangers could there be?
Well, they have to stop and rest, right? They can't fly all that way, so they have to find a place to stop and rest, just like we need to do during our daily lives.
Makes sense. So?
Well, what if you needed food and had to go to the grocery store and the grocery store was closed? And so you went to the next grocery store, but that grocery store was closed. And then you went to the next grocery store and that grocery store was closed.
Well, I guess I would run out of food and I would go hungry.
You would go hungry. It's the same thing for birds. So that's exactly what happens if a bird is used to going to a stopover and all of a sudden that forest is gone or that lake is gone and there's no food for them, they're going to go hungry and they won't have any shelter.
But here at Hahamunga, where we're filming right now, we have this big grass field. And I know that grass isn't a native plant, and there's not much cover there. There's no native plants there. Is grass bad for them? Does that remove their habitat?
Well, it's not great for them, and especially if you're taking out the native plants to plant all this grass, you're basically taking out the bird's grocery store.
I know that there's another danger. So I've seen birds fly into my window on a number of occasions, and I imagine they can't fly away from that super well.
No, absolutely. Windows are one of the most dangerous things for birds. It's estimated that from 350 million to 1 billion, that's with a B, birds die from window strikes every single year.
That's 1 to 3 birds per person. It's incredible.
That's a lot of birds.
You know, I bet they fly into the windows because they're reflecting the sky and vegetation. So it looks like it's just more sky, more air that the birds can fly through. So they don't really know that it's a solid surface. And birds have been around for millions of years, but windows have only been around for a couple hundred years. So they don't really have much time to develop and adapt to that.
That's exactly right. And there's even more dangers. There's storms, there's predators, there's outdoor cats, there's pesticides. The list goes on and on.
What about trash? I know that trash can be dangerous for birds.
Trash can be so dangerous for birds. Let me show you, Micah. My poor little friend Albie. Look at what he's gotten stuck in. He's gotten stuck in fishing line. And this is a string from a balloon. And you know those 6-pack rings that come with sodas and that? So all of these things, they can get stuck up, tangled in them, but also they can also eat them. So trash is really dangerous for birds while they're migrating.
So what can we do to help make birds' migrations more safe?
Well, you can put screens on your windows and also paint really nice designs on them to help prevent window strikes.
That sounds like a fun art project, too.
It really would be a fun, beneficial art project.
Mm-hmm. And I bet you could put out bird feeders and water for these birds to eat and drink on their journeys to make up for their habitat loss.
You can also plant native plants. The most important thing that we can do is help protect the native ecosystem for our migrating birds.
Mm-hmm. And I bet that also means we have to protect whatever native plants and native forests, wildlands that already exist and prevent them from being destroyed as well.
Exactly.
So now that you know what migration is and what birds need to migrate and the dangers in migration, you are going to go out into your neighborhood and find what things are helping the birds migrate and what things might be a problem for them. So don't forget to bring your hand lens and have fun.
Bye.
Bye.